Dave Brailsford proclaimed at the launch of Sky Procycling in late 2009 that it was the team's goal to win the Tour de France with a British rider within 5 years. His statement was scoffed at by pundits and fans alike, but as brash it may seem at the time, it came to fruition just 3 years later. However, not everything was as smooth sailing as it seemed in Bradley Wiggins' quest to win the yellow jersey, and to this day, controversy still reigns over the victory and the management of the team. This is the story behind Sky Procycling's 2012 Tour de France win. Since the team's brash formation and recruitment of riders for the 2010 season, expectations were always going to be high. One of the riders who would grab the most headlines would be Bradley Wiggins, fresh off a third place finish at the previous year's Tour de France and aggressively recruited from Garmin's slipstream. The difficult first season wouldn't see Wiggins repeat his Tour heroics, however, and a broken collarbone in the 2011 Tour saw an early end to his race after much promise after winning the Criterium du Dauphiné the previous month. This DNF opened up the opportunity not only for Wiggins, but fellow rider and relatively unknown Brit Chris Froome to line up in the Vuelta a España that year, where Froome's surprise form saw him take a retrospective red jersey victory at the Spanish Grand Tour, with Wiggins coming home in second place. This was to be replicated in Paris in 2012, but with Wiggins on the top step, but along the way there was plenty of drama. Lining up ahead of the opening stage prologue in Liège, after defending his Dauphiné title, Wiggins was the pre-race favourite ahead of the 2011 winner Cadel Evans. Chris Froome lining up once again as the Brits' super domestique / backup leader. Alongside newly crowned World Champion and new signing Mark Cavendish, Sky had plenty of talent on their 9-man roster alongside the 2 other Brits, but this would inevitably cause issues down the line. Wiggins himself laid down a mark in the most perfect way possible, coming home in second place on the prologue behind Fabian Cancellara, whereas Froome would have a solid start. Mechanical in the running on stage 1 would mean that he would lose 1 minute 25 seconds before a single mountain had been climbed. Cavendish would win his first stage of the race the following day to Tournai, but this would be one of very few opportunities for the Manxman. The tensions for the team and the fractures within would arrive very soon after. After a number of rolling and flat stages across northern France, the first GC showdown of the race would come in the Vosges Mountains atop Planche de Belleville. Wiggins in prime position to take the yellow jersey as the best placed GC contender. Sky set a relentless pace at the front of the race, burning the peloton and GC contenders off the back of the peloton right up to the final kicker to the line. This is where Froome was in front and rode Wiggins, Evans and Vincenzo Nibali off his wheel to secure his first Tour de France stage win. Wiggins came home third on the stage, 2 seconds behind to take the Maillot Jaune. The Sky 1-2 2 days later on the first individual time trial of the race extended Wiggins' lead to over Cadel Evans to nearly 2 minutes, with Froome leaping up the standings to third overall himself ahead of the first rest day. After the rest day, stage 11 to La Toussaint was where definitive cracks began to open up within the Sky ranks. As an elite group formed on the final climb, it was Chris Froome himself who launched a decisive attack, which resulted in Wiggins being dropped from the group. Froome eventually stalled his move to allow Wiggins to latch back on, but it was clear that battle lines had been drawn and Froome had shown he was the best climber in the race, and more importantly, his team. Sky Procycling DS Sean Yates revealed after the race that following the stage, Wiggins sent a text message saying, "I think it would be better for everyone if I went home." Yates says that it was only thanks to him and team principal Dave Brailsford that Wiggins was dissuaded from leaving the race, adding that he felt like Froome had stabbed him in the back. Speaking years later, Froome admitted to thinking about attacking his team leader due to what had happened at the Vuelta the previous season. The difficult part for me was trusting him as a leader, given that in the last big race, the Vuelta a España, I'd gone there to support him, and he fell apart in the last few days. The team turned to me and said, "Right, now you have to try and win it." Going into the Tour de France, I had this on my mind. I was thinking, I'm doing a job for this guy. If he falls apart in the last few days, I need to be in the position to take over again. There were definitely a couple of moments where I thought, right, I'm going to go for it now. Despite these thoughts and the brash attack on stage 11, it seemed Team Ordnance had well and truly come into force for the Pyrenean mountain stages within Team Sky. Speaking after stage 17, Froome said after guiding wins to the top of the Périgord, despite a potential stage win in reach, that was the plan for today, to work for Bradley and protect the yellow jersey. Everyone in the team has made sacrifices. Cavendish, he's made sacrifices every day. Everyone in the team. That's cycling, it's our work. With Froome marshalling Wiggins through the Pyrenees, Froome was unable to decrease Wiggins' comfortable lead heading into the final stages. Going into the penultimate stage time trial, tensions between Sky's two leaders had even spread to Wiggins' and Froome's wife and girlfriend respectively at the time, with back and forth messages being sent over social media about team loyalty. The time trial from Bonneval to Chartres confirmed Wiggins' status as team leader and race winner, with a dominant stage-winning display, with Froome coming home a minute behind to secure his second place on the podium. The tour ended in glory with Mark Cavendish securing a fourth consecutive victory on the Champs-Élysées, led out by the Maillot Jaune in the final kilometres. This lack of support for the world champion was another story within the team, as Cavendish relinquished his green jersey without a fight, and without the support of the sprint train he'd been used to during his years at HTC Columbia. The podium presentation between Wiggins, Froome and third place Vincenzo Nibali showed there wasn't much love to be shown between the two Skymen. This rumbled on with Wiggins withholding Froome's bonus until the World Championships that year, and the pair only raced once more together at the Tour of Oman before Wiggins left Sky to form Team Wiggins in 2015. In a race which produced Britain's first Tour de France winner, feuds between the competing team leaders as well as the much protracted Dr. Richard Freeman affair is something that will sit alongside this achievement for many years to come. Thank you for watching Cycling Explained. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow our social media channels so you don't miss out on the latest released content.